Ian Devenish, a long-term building owner in the town. And again, I think he's a similar mindset to Alan in trying to help bring on new and entrepreneurial businesses, obviously with a view to putting them into properties he owns, but very much trying to help them. I've got again a similar couple of questions to yourself. First of all, would you be able to help a prospective tenant sort of understand the relationship between tenant and landlord in a commercial lease?
Yes, indeed. The main object of my idea in Peterhead, I would call myself the elderly statesman or the OAP of Peterhead. I started business back in '79 as a butcher shop. Since then, I've probably owned and ran 11 or 12 businesses with great experience, learning different things, the pitfalls of business and the added benefits of business. I myself, as far as going into business, was basically forced, just like Alan said, that at one point in my life, I was sitting with a fantastic job, good bosses, etc. They wanted me to move from where I was presently employed up to Turra, of all places, where I actually own a few properties now and businesses up there. But my wife at the time, most people would know Cyril Much. He was the headmaster of the Anna Ritchie School. Unfortunately, her mum had just passed away, and she wouldn't like to move away from her dad. So that kind of pushed me into looking for a local business, which I went and did. We opened up, we bought Kenny Smith the Butchers in Peterhead. But since then, I just kept on investing in Peterhead mainly. I do have properties in Aberdeen, Turra, Fraserburgh, Cruden Bay, and in total in the region of 25 properties. Really trying to get, there's two types of leases. You have residential and you have commercial leases. Commercial leases are quite a lot different from a residential lease, in the respect of a lot of people don't realize what's involved with a commercial lease, along the lines of there's many hidden figures, things that you need to find out, whether the premises is suitable, what they want to use it for, whether it can be converted, whether they're allowed to convert it, whether it's allowed just as one particular style of business. So, I would like to offer my elderly status as to just benefit anyone who has any questions as far as leasing goes, to try and help them and advise them the way through that sort of process. There is definitely solicitors, accountants, everything else. Those are the professional people. I'm more a practical person, whether or not, things can be done or what they should look at, rather than just going ahead and, as Alan mentioned, going into the wrong property or going into the right property, although it's not actually in the middle of the town. Depends on what that business is. Because some businesses, if they have one-off businesses, people will travel to them. So, but my emphasis is really trying to make people understand what a commercial lease is and help them understand, John.
Okay, no, thank you. I mean, as a new business coming into any of your properties, what would you be looking for in terms of term of a lease, especially in uncertain times for both landlord and that business,
Yeah, indeed, John. One of the idea of the word business basically means when two people go into a contract of some sort together and they both are happy with that contract. Many people come along and say, I would like to open a business. I think it's, as Alan again pointed out, it's a good business or it's a bad business. What will I do? Will it be successful? The big thing about going into a commercial lease, you're not purchasing the property, but you are purchasing a time of that property. So one of the biggest decisions that has to be made prior to going in is a length of term, because you can rent a business or a shop for a year, 2 years, 5 years. It all relates to price. It all relates to the idea, whether or not they feel strongly about it. They have ideas in their own head how to bring that business forward and develop it. Again, one of the instances I use with a lot of people when I talk about taking on a lease and for the length of term is making that property or shop earn as much as it possibly can for you, those 4 walls. And I started that off with my butcher days when I used to sell, you know, half a pound of corned beef, but then I started selling potatoes, and then I started selling tins of beans, and anything that then connected to make that sale rather than £1 made it £1.50. So trying to get people to understand that when you're working for yourself, you have to look at all avenues, and also most importantly, the length of term and whether or not the rent that is being requested at the time is reasonable and sustain. So they can sustain that amount of money that is you're going to have to come out of the business, John.
Okay, thanks so much, Ian.